full context, you can go check out the Pack Therapy podcast, because last night after this show, recorded the podcast with Casey Morsell, who was obviously a key member of NC State's run to the Final Four last year. And there were a few things, just we're in conversation, right? We're hosting a podcast. You know how it goes. Talking about a team, and there were phrases that he used that I literally, like, threw the brakes on the pod. I was like, all right, we have to dive into that. One of them was at the end of games, okay? State is not executing at a high enough level in one-possession games. I think they've lost 4 of their last 5 one-possession games, something along those lines. And right, if you win 3 of them, it's a completely different season. The term he used was hero ball. At the end of games, he senses hero ball. And if you want the full context of what he meant, Pack Therapy, the podcast. But when he said it, it clicked with me as well, because that's the vibe I get watching North Carolina State, watching NC State in the last moments of these close games is hero ball. Everybody, or not everybody, but more than one are Jimmy Chitwooding it, right? Have you seen Hoosiers? I'll make the shot, super dramatic. That only works because no one else was in the Hoosiers huddle saying, I'll make the shot. No, I'll make the shot. No, I'll make the shot. Well, once it hits my hands, you're not going to have a chance to make the shot. And I'm not saying it's nefarious or selfish. Sometimes it's well-intentioned, right? Sometimes it's, I want to do everything I can to help my team. Sometimes it's, if somebody's going to be blamed, I want it to be me, so put the game on my shoulders. Sometimes it's well-intentioned. Sometimes it is selfish, right? I want to be the star. Give me the ball. I waited my time. I work hard. Give me the ball. But whatever the motivation is, it's very rarely the right basketball play, right? Unless you're, LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, whatever, then yeah, you get to play hero ball. Get the ball, everybody clears out. You get to ISO into a double team, and if you shoot a fadeaway and miss, nobody's going to be mad at you. But there's no LeBron, Kobe, Jordan on NC State this year. Right? The final possession, who should it go to? Whoever has the best shot. And you have to work to find it. You have to work to find the shot. Hero ball is not what this team can be about. The other thing, and this is more of just a conversation on college sports as a whole, Casey Morsell, who was a captain on the team last season, right? One of the leaders. Offhand, right, I asked him a question about State. Offhand, he goes, well, I don't know what the culture is like this year. And I went, wait a second. You have to, how do you not know what the culture is like this year? You were the leader of the culture last year. And I related it back to my playing career, which was in a bygone era of college sports, which was when I was a senior, I was making sure there were stewards of our culture that were going to be in the locker room the next year, right? I tell the story all the time about the redshirt freshman running back whose locker was next to mine my senior year. And it sounds corny, but I was kind of looking at him like, hey, man, you got 4 more years of this. I'm going to need you to not tear down this whole culture that we've worked so darn hard to build that got us to national championships and all these other things. I'm going to need you. I can guarantee you that because I was in the locker room, the seniors when I was a sophomore weren't, 1 year into their real job or 1 year into the NFL going, I have no idea what that locker room's like in Delaware, because they knew. But in this world, in the transfer world, in this era, Casey Morsell's like, well, shoot, the veterans on the team I only knew 40% of, right? Because transfers are coming in as juniors and seniors, as tone setters, as culture setters, and there's little carryover. The fact that he could even say, I don't know fully the culture blew my mind, but it just shows that we shouldn't treat this team like last year's team, right? We shouldn't treat this team like, well, they are slow starters. It's we don't know if this team is a slow starter. We know last year had the secret sauce to stay motivated and stay confident through the ups and downs. We don't know if this team has it. We know that Casey Morsell, who, by the way, we did talk about it, he's like, I would have loved to play on this team And my thought went right to, like, yeah, you'd get 10 more shots if you were on the team this year than last year. I'm sure you want to. He was talking about just style of play and things. But again, listen to the pod. My point being, we know that Casey Morsell would not take those 10 extra shots a game because they were better suited going into the post to DJ Burns and letting him pass out of it to open shots. We don't know that about this year's team. So hero ball becomes much more concerning. And SMU is solid, right? Like, this is not a pushover game, but I will throw this out there. Looking at NC State's schedule over the last couple of weeks, I almost don't care how good their opponent is. If their opponent is a 9 out of 10, they're going to play 9 out of 10 basketball for the first 38 minutes. And then it's going to come down to who executes better in the last two. If the team they're playing is a 4 out of 10, they're going to play like 4 out of 10 basketball until the last 2 minutes, right? For the first half and 18 minutes into the second half, they're going to play to the level of their competition. It'll be a one-possession game. They've had a week off. They haven't played since last Saturday. They play tomorrow against SMU. We'll see if anything is different. I firmly believe this one will be close. And we'll see if they've fixed anything in their late game execution.